This pothole is almost 2 inches deep, and the Department of Public Works is trying to fill them as fast as they can. The ground is still frozen and there's snow on the side of the river, but the fishers say that they just don't care. Children need at least 1 hour of physical activity every day. Muscle strengthening exercises, like the jungle gym, they need at least 3 times a week. The Texas Transportation Institute says that using voice to text is just as impairing to your driving as using regular handheld texting. Amanda Quick gives us the details about tonight's forecast. Sports reporter Christina Ventura tells us more about tonight's game at Syracuse, and find out how you can get a cheaper flight for your summer vacation. All coming up on the 440 newscast. Stay tuned.
Apple, thank you for looking at me.
6-year-old Zach is an intelligent, happy child who has autism. He receives applied behavioral analysis treatment, or ABA, to improve his speech. The law currently says that children with autism must be covered for expensive treatments like Zach receives. Children just like Zach may be affected by a new amendment to that law, which says that ABA treatment will only be covered by insurance companies if that person giving the treatment is a licensed psychologist. The Morfitt family has paid $100,000 for diagnosis, customizing their basement as a therapy room, and paying an ABA therapist all out of pocket. Kevin Anschel is a psychologist and professor at Syracuse University. He says the amendment downplays how qualified many ABA therapists are.
These folks are impressively well trained. They've got a lot of experience, and they offer a very important need. Well, I think if you restrict it to licensed psychologists, there's going to be very, very few people doing this.
If this new amendment passes, that means that there are about 50 people who are certified to do this ABA therapy in New York State. There are about 20,000 autistic children in New York.
We're dealing with a disorder where time is critical. Time is of the essence. Every day that goes by that a child doesn't receive services is a day that they're just falling further and further behind.
Falling behind is something that Leanne and many other parents in New York won't let happen to their children. In Syracuse, I'm Caitlin Landers, NCC News.
A kill switch can save lives, and that's why it's so important.
Representative Maffei has signed on with Attorney General Eric Schneiderman to promote the Smartphone Theft Prevention Act.
If the companies won't do it themselves, then we've got to make sure people are protected.
The co-sponsors say companies will lose money because customers won't have to buy expensive insurance plans for their phones, which is why many don't want to sign on. The act would require that all smartphones have a kill switch on them so that if they're stolen, they won't have value in the black market.
You can cancel it like a credit card. Then the crime wave ends. The thieves have no incentive to do this, but it has to be industry-wide, and it has to be something that the crooks know everyone has the capability of using.
35% of robberies in Syracuse are for cell phones.
We could discourage this type of robbery. We can have an opportunity of decreasing our robberies by 35%, and that's a great number and a great opportunity.
Critics say this national database of disabled phones do not work in every country. So if stolen phones are taken out of the U.S., thieves could still find personal information. Severe weather in Tennessee ripped through an elementary school, and emergency officials said today it is probably unfixable. These are the remains of what weather officials say could have been a tornado yesterday. Debris covers the classroom, and high winds blew the windows out of a school bus. South Lincoln Elementary School was empty at the time, so nobody was hurt there, but 2 people in the county died. 4 people are still in the hospital after a gunman shot 6 and then shot himself outside the Atlanta area. A FedEx employee fired a shotgun at a FedEx warehouse. The shooting happened just before 6 a.m. today. What are the limits on cell phone searches? The Supreme Court is hearing 2 cases today about police officers being allowed to search through cell phones without a warrant. Decisions for both cases are expected in June. North Korea did live fire artillery drills near territory that is being fought over with South Korea. The disputed territory by the sea called the Northern Limit Line, is not acknowledged by North Korea. The government tested 50 rounds of artillery shells in over 10 minutes. A South Korean official has said this could show more frustration in Pyongyang as it continues to unsuccessfully push for outside aid. Pro-Russia protesters have taken over a government building in Luhansk, Ukraine. The demonstrators are demanding a referendum to give Ukraine's eastern region more authority in the government. Luhansk is about 15 miles from the Russian border, and the people in that region mostly speak Russian.